Guys, as you know, GoHunt.com Insider is the title sponsor of this podcast. I wanted to tell you what a few other hunters say about the Go Hunt Insider. Randy Newberg, host of Loophold's Fresh Tracks TV show, says, I take my elk hunting seriously. There is no such thing as too much information. There's plenty of old information. Go Hunt Insider gives me a fresh look at information with hard data and lots of it. Jason Hairston, the founder of KUIU, says GoHunt.com's goal is to help hunters spend less time researching and more time in the field. Mission accomplished. Brett Ross, the Colorado hunter that killed the 300-inch deer, it's the best $149 I've ever spent. Guys, go to GoHunt.com/insider, click the blue Join Now button, and use the promo code JScott at checkout, and they will send you a $50 KUIU gift certificate. They will actually email you an electronic gift certificate by joining Insider now. I want to thank GoHunt.com Insider for being the title sponsor of this podcast. This is the J. Scott Outdoors podcast on Western big game hunting and fishing, brought to you by GoHunt.com Insider. Research faster, hunt more. Go to GoHunt.com/insider and join today. I'm your host, Jay Scott, and I live and breathe hunting and fishing, spending half the year in the field experiencing God's creation. I hope you'll enjoy hearing about our adventures. Guys, this is going to be a great episode with Jason Hairston, the president of KUIU and founder of KUIU. I wanted to tell you real fast about the Go Hunt Insider giveaway for August. They're giving away 10 KUIU sleeping bags. To show their appreciation to the Insider members this month, the Go Hunt team will give away some great gear. With the hunting season right around the corner, GoHunt.com figured out that this was a perfect time to give away some KUIU sleeping bags. This month, GoHunt.com Insider will give away 10 KUIU Super Down 30-degree sleeping bags, size long, with a retail value of $4,500. The KUIU Super Down sleeping bag are the most technically advanced sleeping bags on the market. These bags also feature treated down feathers and provide water repellency and more durable down feather. These are the reasons that KUIU Super Down sleeping bag needs to be in your tent on a hunt this fall. Each month, random names are pulled from a list of Insider members, and GoHunt.com Insider gives away awesome gear like custom rifles, optics, apparel, and even landowner tags. All Insider members are automatically qualified for a chance to win one of the giveaways. No action is needed. In the recent months, GoHunt.com Insider have given away 4 landowner tags with a retail value of $20,000, 1 Doll Sheep Hunt with a retail value of $22,500, 3 Zeiss Victory 85 FL spotting scopes with a retail value of $11,000, 10 pairs of Kenetrek boots with a retail value of $3,350, and 3 Red Rock Precision custom rifles with Huskama scopes. Retail value of $22,800. Guys, go to GoHunt.com Insider to become a member. Click on the blue Join Now button. Use the J. Scott promo code at checkout, and you will also receive a $50 KUIU gift certificate. Now let's get right to the episode with Jason Hairston. Welcome to the J. Scott Outdoors podcast. Today we have Jason Hairston of KUIU. And Jason and I have been fortunate. I've shared some hunts with Jason, and I love KUIU gear. I've been wearing it for years, and it's always a pleasure and nice to talk to Jason about just life and talk to him about his hunts and his, obviously his brand. KUIU is something Dara and I believe in. And Jason, how you doing today?
Jay, I'm good. Thanks for having me back on. This is officially my second podcast.
Yes, this is awesome. We got great reviews on your first episode, and I'm looking
forward to talking to you today about KUIU and how things are going. First, I'd like to say thanks for all of the great stuff that you guys have been kicking out this summer. And I've been wearing the Peloton stuff and really like it. I was actually up on the Frying Pan River today in Colorado fishing, and when I got out of the truck, it was like 46 degrees and was layered up, and we had a great day fishing, caught some really nice fish, and I got some great pictures, and just a beautiful time to be here in Colorado. But I really like that Peloton stuff.
Yeah, I do too. I've been searching for knits, synthetic knits from day one, and I had yet to find anything other than Polar Tech that I thought really fit the bill for KUIU, and was light and was warm and had a performance level that I felt was indicative of the KUIU brand, and had been pushing Toray to work with some of these Prime Flex yarns that we have in our pants, and they started from ground zero on re-engineering these yarns into a knit program. And Toray, being Toray, took some thoughts that I had around it and then put it on steroids in what they created for us in a program that we introduced as Peloton. It's awesome stuff. Every time we come out with something new, I say it's my favorite. And right now, Peloton's is my favorite. It's really cool stuff. It's light, it's warm, it dries fast. The 3 different pieces work well together and make a great little layering system. And that 240 gets rid of my soft shell jacket and is lighter and more compact, and it moves with your body a little bit better.
Yeah, it's got a real nice fit, and it's got a lot of stretch to it. I really like it. Jason, tell me, obviously I've been in love with the merino wool for some time now, but tell me on your own personal hunts, maybe where you would wear merino wool and then maybe where you would wear Peloton.
Merino, I love our merino wool base layers for the reasons of the merino's base protein is keratin protein, and it's antimicrobial by nature. And so what I love about it is it feels great against your skin over multiple days in the same shirt, and the odor stays out of that product. When I first realized that we needed a synthetic knit program was when I was hunting in New Zealand, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, with Sean Allison. And Sean and an old crusty old Kiwi guide that was with Sean, I can't even remember his name. The guy was classic. And they're both wearing synthetic base layers. And I was shocked, being the home of merino wool. And their comments on merino was it just doesn't dry out, which we all know to be true because it's hydrophilic, meaning it's going to pull the moisture in off your skin into the fabric and will hold moisture, but it'll keep you dry because your skin's, or keep you warm when it's wet because your skin's dry because it's pulling it off your skin. And it got me thinking that, God, maybe we need to revisit, synthetic knit program. And that's kind of what sparked my interest in it and why I went to Toray and talked to them about a knit program for us. And so on hunts that have a lot of moisture and you're not going to be able to dry stuff out, I recommend synthetics. You just need to plan accordingly because you're not going to be able to probably get 10 days out of the same synthetic shirt without wanting to change it. So you're going to need to bring 2 or 3 base layer shirts within the system. Or on shorter trips where you're going to have your car camping and you have the ability to bring multiple base layer sets to change out, then you might want to think about synthetics. Synthetics, what I like about them is they're durable. They dry really, really fast. And for a lot of us, they're a little bit more comfortable against the skin than a merino wool. And so there's certain situations I just like synthetics. I'm going up tomorrow for the opening weekend of blacktail season here on the coast in California. And I will wear Peloton against my skin because it's a short weekend hunt.
Now, will you go with the Tiburon pants in that setup or Tiburon shorts with the Peloton synthetic top, or what will your setup be for that hunt? Because I know it's probably very hot.
Yeah, it's supposed to be up in the 90s this week, which is actually cool for the opening weekend of California archery season. So I started testing Tiburon in this season, and it's the perfect pant for these summer hunts. And so I'll be wearing that pant and then just a Peloton short sleeve and long sleeve over the top of it. And when it gets hot, I'll pop off the long sleeve and just, usually on the hike out is when I'll get down to just the short sleeve base layer. But you don't need much. And then I'll put probably the Peloton 240 in my backpack for I'm sitting up on a ridge. Sometimes in the mornings you can get the breeze off the ocean, and it can get actually quite cold. But it doesn't stay cold for long and ends up being, 100 degrees sometimes in these canyons when you're hiking out. So you get a quite a wide range of conditions up there.
On those blacktail hunts, you really enjoy those hunts, and I know you kind of cut your teeth on those. Will you be going? Is it archery hunting? Will you be going with the bow, or what's your weapon of choice?
Yeah, I'm going to be hunting this weekend. I'm taking my dad. It's kind of a tradition I have with him, and I'm taking my son. So it's going to be 3 generations of us, and I've.
That's scary.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? We're all carrying longbows this weekend.
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. Now, on that setup, can you also shoot a pig? How does California work as far as their bag limit?
Yeah, you could shoot 2 deer. So we've got 2 tags, which is amazing for a lot of you to think about. It opens the second weekend in July every year at blacktail archery season. That's the A zone. There's other zones, but the A zone season starts second weekend in July. And we'll have hog tags in our pockets as well. So if we see hogs, we can stalk those and hunt those as well as blacktails. It makes it for an awesome hunt. The downside of the hunt is it can be incredibly hot. And blacktails, unless you're hunting on a ranch that just has them all over the place and they're not hunted, can be incredibly hard to kill with a bow, especially with a stick bow. They're really inconsistent as far as their movements and their patterns, and a buck you'll see in one spot one day, you go back there and look for him the next day, he's never there. A lot of times we'll hunt an area and not see the same buck twice in a season. So they can be just a challenge to try to figure out and kill.
And Jason, the terrain you're hunting obviously is coastal, mountainous, but I would assume like the grass and such, it's dried out, right? It's yellow and dried out this time of year? Yeah,
we're hunting in some pretty steep oak canyons. So you've got oak trees with oak leaves that have fallen off and are all over the ground, which are really noisy. You've got dried out grass, and then you've got thick brush. So it makes it really, really challenging. You got to kind of have a deer in a perfect setup to get in close and get a good shot on them.
Will it be spot and stalk or sit and wait, or what kind of style of hunting is that?
Sitting over water is the best way to kill these things. I'm way too impatient to do it.
You'd rather chase them off through the briars.
I would. I like to cover ground, and I like to glass and spot and stalk. There's some awesome water holes and seeps on this ranch because there's not a lot of water, so the deer get really concentrated on certain water spots. And I told myself this year it was going to be different. I was going to go in and set up tree stands and trail cams, which I bought and have sitting in my basement of my house and never installed them because decided I'm going to spot and stalk again this year.
Nice. That sounds like a lot of fun.
It is fun.
Yeah. Now, how far roughly is that from Dixon, where the KUIU headquarters are?
The place I'm hunting is a little less. It's about an hour and a half, so it's not far. There's a public area that's about an hour from our place. If you do a lot of homework, you can find some deer in there. I've joined at what we call a blacktail deer club, which are pretty common around here, and you get a lease for the deer season. And we have about 10 other members. Most of them are rifle hunters, so we'll be the only archery hunters there for this season. And yeah, it's great. You can see between 10 and 20 bucks on an average weekend, and maybe 1 or 2 that are in that Pope and Young range.
Awesome. I assume with it being as tough of conditions as it is, if you get a chance at a buck, you're going to let her rip, or do you be selective on this hunt?
Typically this weekend I'm just trying to get my dad a shot.
Uh-huh.
And then I've got the rest of the season because it's so close. He lives down in Southern California, so I take him out opening weekend and try to get him a deer. And if we don't, if we get him one, great, then I'll hunt. Otherwise, I'm just trying to set him up on stocks.
That's cool. That's cool. Shifting gears a little bit, I recently got the Tiburon shorts, and I got 2 in solid colors, and I've been wearing them fishing. I've been wearing them rowing in my boat while taking friends out fishing in the raft, and actually been wearing them to dinner a lot and stuff in the evenings, and just really love those shorts. My wife's like, man, do you want me to throw away your other shorts? And because it seems like all you wear. And I said, well, they're just so comfortable. Tell me the principle and the logic behind the Tiburon and the AirDock technology, and how all of that works with the warm season hunts.
Yeah, it's a really unique fabric in the sense that it's light and quiet and durable, and then by construction, as you know, it has these, it's the reason they have the name, is these small micro dots that run, up, vertically and horizontally, that give it kind of like a ripstop look to the fabric. But it's actually openings in the fabric to allow air to pass through. And it was originally created by Toray for the Japanese Olympians in Beijing as a fabric that they can make jerseys out of for like their soccer team and other Olympic athletes that would maximize breathability through the fabric, that was still durable enough to not just get torn apart like a real lightweight fabric. And I've looked at a lot of the lightweight fabrics from like Ex Officio and some of the other companies that make some really lightweight fabrics for fly fishing. And they are lightweight, but they still don't let air travel through it very easily, especially if you put DWR on it. So, yeah, they're light, but they still don't solve the problem of airflow. There are some meshes out there that work, but the problem with the lightweight meshes is you just tear them up going through brush or hunting. This is kind of the best of both worlds. You get airflow, you get quiet, you get enough durability out of a lightweight fabric. And it's like, it's the perfect hot weather fabric. When I first tested, I was amazed because I took them into the California blacktail season, which if you've hunted that country, I think you have, Jay, there's a lot of brush, and I busted brush with them and then slipped and fell and some pretty tough, nasty stuff. And they withstood everything I threw at it through an entire season of blacktail hunting, and realized that it was a fabric we could use, and we put it in the line, and the response to it's been outstanding. There's absolutely nothing like it in the world for a hot weather system.
Yeah, I can't wait to wear them for archery elk season. To me, the attack pant has been, just one of my favorites for years. But I think I'm going to roll the Tiburon on the archery elk seasons because, in Arizona we can have, lows in the 40s, say in the mornings, but, a lot of times in the afternoons it'll hit up into the 80s. And I think that's going to be a new addition for me on my pants. I may run some of the other pants, the Chinook maybe, but overall, I think the Tiburon's going to be a perfect fit for me for those archery elk seasons. I wanted to bounce back to something and talk about Toray. If other manufacturers, say competitors, were to use Toray, it's my impression from what you've told me before that they would actually be priced out of the market, meaning that because of the great stuff that Toray makes and the cost that it costs you, if your competitor were to use it, they would have to charge twice as much. Can you talk to me a little bit about that scenario?
Yeah, I think it's a great question that comes up, and I think some of the people that challenge KUIU, whether it's competitors or naysayers, try to challenge us on our pricing and the validity of our pricing and our margins. I found Toray when I was developing products and running as CEO of Sitka, and realized quickly how amazing these fabrics were in performance and technology and weight. There was lots of advantages around the patents they have on their materials, and quickly built a layering system out of Toray fabrics and tried financially to make it work, but we're talking about fabrics, head-to-head comparison, like on stretch wovens, the fabrics we're running at Sitka were $4 and $5, and the Toray fabrics were $14 and $15. For example, soft shells, $6 to $7 we were buying and running at Sitka at the time. We're comparing to $17 and $18 soft shells at Toray, and you start running the math out on that, and you can't make it work unless you can get $300 for a stretch woven hunting pant, and $400 or $500 for a soft shell jacket, and $1,000 for rain gear, and it just wouldn't pencil and work in the current business model that we're running Sitka. And so when Gore bought Sitka from us, it's the whole reason why I started KUIU as a consumer direct model, was to take these fabrics to market, because I knew how great they were, and I knew if someone could find a way to get Toray to the market at a price that people could afford, they'd have a winning business. And it's exactly what we've done, and exactly why KUIU has been so successful. Further, it's allowed us to work with materials like carbon fiber for our packs, new yarn, merino wool from the Merino Company, and small little detail stuff like Batard's leather in our gloves is incredibly expensive, but we can afford to take it to market. And it makes all the products we make very special. They're lighter, they perform better, last longer, and at a price that is competitive or less than our competition can take to market with lesser materials.
And so the reality is truly the materials that are in the KUIU products, a lot of the KUIU products, are such that none of the other competitors can compare in quality. And so, you truly can say without a shadow of a doubt that the quality of materials is way better.
It's substantially better. Better in our, KUIU's, the lineup of fabrics that we use at KUIU, materials that we use at KUIU, nobody in any market that makes technical performance wear can compete with what we have head to head. Whether it's hunting, whether it's outdoor, you can't. What we run in our program is the best in the world, bar none.
Speaking of the world, Jason, I noticed that you started a showroom in Europe. Talk to me a little bit about the progression of your thought process in jumping over to Europe, and maybe give us a little bit of an idea how that launch went. I believe you went over to Europe for the launch. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, our European business, which is not by plan but by demand, forced us to put somebody on the ground in Europe to help with European customers with questions, with import questions, with customer service questions. And then we thought, if the demand has been there, if we had actually had somebody there to help drive the business, could we grow it? And we had been approached by a gentleman in Spain, Jorge, and who offered to come to work for us part-time. We offered him a part-time position last September. He quickly helped grow our business through brand awareness, consolidating orders, and working with European customers. And then we brought him on full-time at the first of the year and opened an office in northern Spain. And then he got the opportunity, through a relationship he had, to open up a showroom at a really interesting location in the town of Los Ibanez, about an hour out of Madrid. And it gives us the opportunity to have our entire line of equipment and gear in a location in Europe, so people can come and see it, touch it, and feel it, in a way to help continue to expand and grow our brand, with the ultimate goal to have a distribution in place a year from now to handle all of our European orders and support the growing European business. And I went over for the grand opening and was just totally blown away with the response of the European customers to the KUIU brand. We had an invitation-only event, and there was well over 100 people there, with other people that just came that weren't invited, that wanted to be part of it. And we had a couple magazines there covering it, a couple newspapers, 2 television stations. The mayor of the town was there to meet, and we did the opening, and it was just an amazing event. And they were very gracious and excited and complimentary of KUIU and the fact that we'd be there to support their country and the European market with our products and our brand. It was exciting to see. It's, the European market's very different as far as the clothes that they wear hunting, but they're starting to really come around to understand the advantages to technical hunting apparel and are very interested in what KUIU is. And I think there's a really upside to that market that hasn't been tapped yet.
I think one of the things that jumps out to me, having been to Europe several times and knowing how Europeans are pretty discriminatory as far as with their gear. I mean, they have some great manufacturers over there, and I know that KUIU, just when talking to you at other times, you said you have a strong showing in Europe, and I think that speaks volumes for KUIU because maybe you can elaborate on the Europeans have very high quality products.
They do, but it's a kind of a what I call traditional style of clothing. It's a lot of wools and big heavy parkas and just a different style and approach to hunting apparel.
Well, I think of I'm thinking of the high-end ski stuff. It seems like a lot of the great ski clothing is made in Europe, and I know, having gone into shops in Austria and Germany and Switzerland and some of those places, that they've got some pretty high-end technical skiing type gear, so I know that they're prone to want to use high-quality gear.
They have it, absolutely. They have it in their ski wear. They have it in their outdoor gear. They just haven't had it in hunting gear, which is surprising to me as well. And because Toray, the majority of their business is the European ski market, because they'll pay $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000 for a ski jacket. That's where Toray does the bulk of their business.
Jason, while we're on that subject, and you had mentioned naysayer, here at the J. Scott Outdoors podcast, we very rarely like to focus on anything negative. But if you had a critic out there that says, hey, you've got back orders and such, why would you be starting in Europe? Can you talk a little bit about just how hard it is to engineer and run a company that is as fast at growing as KUIU, and some of the hurdles and struggles that you come, I know you forecast out, and the public out there, the customer just seems to always amaze you. Talk a little bit about how that dynamic is working.
Well, you have to put a plan in place, and you have to put a plan in place for growth and infrastructure for the growth for the future. And whether that's a financial plan, whether that's an organizational plan, or an infrastructure plan. And Europe was part of our infrastructure plan with a growing demand for the European customer. Whether we had inventory or not, we needed to put somebody there just to assist those customers. Our hours are so different, language barriers being different. We felt like we could help our customers there by having a representative there that they could contact, whether it was warranty, whether it was questions, whether it was help with an order. And that was the initial start of the European office. We're going to be doing the same thing in the South Pacific, in New Zealand and Australia as well, to help our customers there. And as far as just growing and planning a business, I've always, for KUIU, I'm not wanting to chase demand by bringing on investors and diluting the company to chase demand and change the ownership structure of this business to do it. I feel like for a long-term business, which I want KUIU to be, the smartest way to grow this thing is to hit my growth targets every year and plan accordingly around that, and not overextend myself or the company financially, which is very, very dangerous, very easy to do, and it's a very easy way to lose a business. And having gone through the challenges I went through with a lot of different partners and investors at Sitka that we raise money to chase demand. I want to do this different and stay in control of the company, which I have, and get us to a point to where we will eventually catch up to the demands that is there. I started this off as a consumer direct online only brand, expecting much slower growth, obviously, than what we have. I'll take the growth that we've been able to achieve, which has been well over 100% a year, and we eventually will catch up. I think what's been a challenge for us and for our customers to understand is, hunting's a very seasonal business, and most companies and most brands buy product based on the seasonality of our business and won't have stock 24/7, 365, but plan on bringing in inventory for the hunting season, which really starts. Our hunting season and purchasing doesn't start until mid to late July, August through the end of the year. And so you're usually low in inventory coming out of Christmas all the way through until June and July when your inventory starts coming in for the season. And you'll be bringing much larger orders throughout the rest of the year. Where we get beat up quite a bit is in the off season, and guys that want to be able to purchase it in January, February, or March, and then upset that they can't get it then. It's like going into a ski shop in May and expecting to be able to get everything that they ski shop would have in December, and then being disappointed and upset that they don't have it in May. But ski season is 6 months away. I'm trying to get on our basics more in stock in those off seasons so that guys can pick stuff up during the off season, but it's a challenge, and it's hard to make those big purchases and plans knowing that you're in the off season, and if we don't sell through it, it puts us in a bigger challenge as a business. So I just have to run it as best I know how to run it, and if we can't meet all the demand, I just hope the customers over time can understand that it's the way I have to run this business. It hurts us as much or more than it hurts them when they can't go on, click, and purchase a product. But it's a great question, and it's a challenge one of the challenges of growing a business.
Absolutely, and I think you've done a fantastic job, and I think having gone through some of the stuff you have gone through, you're a smart guy, and you know that you want to have control and you want to grow this at the rate that you want to grow it at. So I give you my hats off to you on that. You've done a fantastic job, and the reality is, people that want the product, if they pre-order it and get on the ball and don't wait, they will get their product. And appreciate your answer there. Excited to talk to you about the 8-piece skin-to-shell layering system, the Teton collection. And first and foremost, talk to me a little bit about how that developed over time, and then go into the Teton collection,
Sure.
Please.
Yeah, Teton was an idea I've had since the beginning of KUIU. I built this business model around working with these really expensive materials that I couldn't take to market because of the retail business model before KUIU. But I always thought in the back of my mind, what if we took fabrics that are on the same or similar performance and price structure of what I bought previously with Sitka or what our competitors are buying, and dropped them into our business model and took them out to market for customers that couldn't afford the competitors' pricing or couldn't afford KUIU's pricing, but still wanted to have great quality gear at a great value, and felt like we were mature enough as a business to consider it. And last year, Toray came to us with a program that they called TSD, which is Sports Division Fabrics, which are made to go into North American retail market. And they, on a quality and performance level, I would argue that they're as good or better. I like them better than what I bought when I was buying fabrics at Sitka. And because they're based under Toray, and Toray's technologies and how they build fabrics is better than any of the other Taiwanese suppliers that I've worked with in the past. And felt like it was something to do for a couple of reasons. One, to give people choices on price and performance. Not everybody needs the performance of Toray Primeflex yarns or Stunner Stretch yarns that perform so well in the most extreme conditions in the world. And that's it was a good thing for this market to have a choice for these guys at a price that more people could afford. It also was a smart business move for KUIU. Anytime we can reset the bar on pricing and performance, it puts pressure on our competition, allows us to gain more market share, makes us a stronger business. And I felt like, looking at the whole program with Teton, we weren't going down market because it's on a performance level of our competition, if not better. It gives our customers choices and lets us kind of put a stake in the ground as far as where pricing should be or could be if there wasn't the retailers selling products that were similar to our competition, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, you have the Teton, you have a short sleeve crew, long sleeve crew, the Teton Zip Tee. In talking about those three right there, so those, you feel like those are comparable, but you feel they're better than the competition fabrics that they're using?
I know they're better. If you look at just the fabric makeup on those, it's 100% polyester, where most companies that are running, their base layer programs are going to have elastic in those materials. Ours is 100% polyester. It's a Toray fabric, so they're going to dry incredibly fast. They're backed by our warranty. They're cut and sewn in our same factories that are cutting and sewing our other products. So I know it's the highest quality cut and sew you can get. And all those things together, they're just flat out better at a price that is wholesale. It's the same price that Cabela's is buying it from our competition.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking, $34.99, $44.99, and $54.99. Those are very, very reasonable prices for great quality products.
Yeah, for what you're getting, it's incredible prices. Yep.
And then you've got the Teton Stretch Woven Pant, the Soft Shell Jacket, the Teton Rain Pant. So, Teton Rain Jacket, and then a Teton Insulated Jacket. Curious about the Teton Insulated Jacket. What material is that?
So that's 100% stretch polyester. And then we've got the Toray 3D FX inside of it as the insulation. So it's uncoated, so you got the same, great breathability advantages to Toray 3D FX that we have in our Kenai. So it is a polyester fabric, so it's not going to be quite as durable as our Kenai. But it's an awesome piece for the money, and this stuff will blow people away when they get it in their hands. It's at the price that it's at, because honestly, when we developed it, we all kind of looked at each other and said, "Man, this stuff's maybe too good at this point."
and from what I understand, the whole kit and caboodle is $750 for a whole system.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it's unheard of.
Nope, I know. It's awesome. You could take. I would be, and am more than confident to recommend to a guy going on a sheep hunt. It's that good of stuff.
That's great. That's great stuff. I want to talk to you a little bit about something that I really have just seen but know nothing about, and that's the KUIU Film Festival 2016. Walk me through exactly what's going on with this.
Well, that's a good question. We've been getting a lot of customers that have been sending us links to videos that they've shot, edited, and thrown up on YouTube or Hunter Vids or Vimeo, and sitting there one day with Blaze, our videographer, and Pat, who looks at a lot of these videos that come in, and we said, let's start a film festival for these guys. Let's give them something back for shooting and editing and putting a film up, and let's put it in one spot. We'll have them submit them to us. We'll go through and pick our favorites, and then we'll throw them up on our website, and then let the public vote on their favorites and give out some amazing awards for their hard work. And just felt like it was something that selfishly we wanted to show off our customers' work in a place that everyone could look at it and then let them vote.
That sounds like an awesome deal. I can't wait. You're probably going to get some incredible content there, and I'm excited to see what comes in. So I'm going to be eagerly anticipating that.
I'll be expecting your entry, Jay.
Well, I'll do my best. What are some of the pieces in the KUIU line that have had either a major change or overhaul for the better in your mind? Meaning, I know, knowing you personally, you are nonstop trying to tinker and change things and make it for the better. Give me some products that you know that you've made changes to that have made it better.
Well, in our rain gear, the change over the last, probably, I'm trying to think when NX came out in the market. Maybe the last 18 months we've been running the NX membrane from Toray, and that's an advancement in waterproof breathable membrane technology that essentially has taken our breathability from 20,000 to over 40,000. Which is literally double our closest competitor. They've increased the stretch and the durability of the membrane, and it's taken our rain gear to a level that makes it so you can literally almost wear it as a soft shell jacket because it has that much breathability and moves moisture out of the product that well. That's been a huge advantage to our product line and how we can make some of the products like our Yukon pant. We've designed it as an actual pant that I put on at the beginning of a sheep hunt and don't take off until I'm done. And you can wear it as a regular pant because the membrane breathes so well. That's been a huge advancement over the last couple of years. Recent advancements, we made some nice improvements to our two-person tent from year 1 to year 2 in our 2015 Mountain Star 2P. We're able to do a couple adjustments on the venting, some adjustments on the inside. We increased the height of the bathtub floor based on some feedback from customers. We got rid of the one-person Mountain Star and came out with the Ultra Star. Too many guys mentioning that they thought there wasn't, and there really wasn't a big enough weight difference between the one-person and two-person Mountain Stars. So we went to a single pole design and single wall design on the Ultra Star, and that's been a huge success. I think partly it's because of the weight savings. It went from just under 3 pounds all the way down to 18 ounces, and uses just a single trekking pole to put the tent up. So that's solved some problems for some guys that's looking for a really lightweight one-person solution on a shelter or a tent. And then we've been in the process of designing and making a new rain gear product called Ultra NX, which is the lightest 3-layer hard shell rain system that's ever been created. And that comes out this summer, and that's the jacket weighs 8 ounces, the pant weighs 7 ounces.
I saw that, and that just blew me away.
Yeah, it's crazy. For guys like yourself, Jay, when you're just never in your rain gear, but you got to carry it for those thunderstorms, you guys will just eat it up. It's got the NX membrane, so it breathes like crazy. It's got a nylon outer fabric, so it's really durable against the thorns and stuff that you guys hunted in Arizona. But in your pack, you won't even know it's there.
Yeah, so you'll have 15 ounces for pants and jacket, 8 and 7. Is that what you said?
Yeah, it comes in somewhere along those lines. Yeah, it weighs less than our Chugach jacket alone weighs.
That is incredible.
Packs down to nothing. So we've been able to. You're looking at some of the stuff we've added to the lineup over the last 2 years, and you're looking at as I'm putting together my kit for my upcoming sheep hunt, just always amazed that every year I look at the base weight. That's before optics, food, and the weapon I'm taking, anything along the lines with the weapon like ammo, and it just keeps getting lighter and lighter. I remember when I first started with KUIU has 18 pounds, and I'm all the way down to under 10 pounds this year.
That's fantastic. You actually have some great hunts coming up here. Tell me about some of these hunts that you have. I know you have a sheep hunt coming up here pretty quick.
Yeah, I'm getting starting to get ready for a Doll sheep hunt up in the Northwest Territories at Nahanni Butte. That's a 10-day hunt. I also have a mountain caribou tag in my pocket if we happen to find something that's giant. But I'm really excited because this is an area that is getting closed after this year and becoming, I don't know if you've heard about that, but big chunk of the southern end of the McKenzie Mountains, they call it Nahanni Buttes, and that's going we're getting brought into part of the national park that it borders. So we'll be some of the last hunters to ever get to hunt that area, and it has one of the highest density of adult sheep in the world, and has some really good rams, and I'm excited to get a chance to go in there. It's always been on my list of things to do, and fortunate enough to get in the last year before it closes. That's the first, let's say I fly out on the 2nd of August, and I think we start hunting on the 4th, and it's a 10-day hunt. And so I'm excited about that, and it's a backpack style type of hunt. So I'll be able to put all the gear to the test, and we're going to be bringing a couple cameramen to film it. And so hopefully we have a cool little film to enter into our contest.
Awesome. Well, I know you, and I know that you like those challenging hunts. We had talked in the previous episode a little bit about your adventurous spirit. Is that spirit totally parallel with the design of the KUIU products? Meaning, is that what's? I'm always curious at what drives you every day to make your product better, because you could rest a little bit and sit back on your haunches and enjoy your success, but it seems as though you're always grinding. Tell me about that part of you and why that is.
It's just who I am, I suppose. I'm always looking for ways to improve what we've got, whether it's a seam, whether it's a change in fit, whether it's a change in a fabric or material. Part of it, it's my perfectionism. And then it's the mantra of our business, which is, reducing weight, increasing performance. So whether it's a new material I come across or it's a better way to do a design, because we don't have retailers telling us not to make changes, we can make changes overnight and take it back out to market with a newer, better product. So we do it kind of against the rules and against the grain of what everyone else does in this business, which is design something, sit on it for 4 years, and then redesign it.
Yeah, and I think that's directly attributed to why KUIU is such a success. And I think one of the other things, too, that always strikes me is, you're a hunter through and through. And not talking bad about anybody else at all, but, in reality, I just don't see the competition having the hands-on knowledge and the I'm going to beat it up mentality. But not only that, you truly love to hunt. This isn't just, you're the face of the company, so you go on a few hunts. You live and breathe it.
Yep. It's been part of my DNA. I've been doing it since I was old enough to walk. And it's just who I am, and I absolutely love the bigger, more extreme, mountain-style hunts. I love big backpack hunts that really test your soul, your body, your mind, and your equipment. And then those hunts that let you know what your limits are and what the edges are, and does the same for the gear that we make and build. And after every big sheep hunt, I get done and I've learned a lot about my equipment and learned a lot about how we can make it even better.
I've got a question about your preparation for these hunts. Having been a professional football player, you're obviously a big, strong guy. But how are you preparing for this upcoming Dall sheep hunt? Run me through your workout regimen.
The biggest thing I do is I never get out of shape. So I train year-round. Obviously, I will try to peak my workouts this time of year so that I'm in the best shape of the year in the summer, and that usually includes just ramping up my cardio. Like this month, I started carrying a pack during my workouts, whether it's in the gym on the treadmill, start adding weight to a pack just to get those specific muscles that you can only get wearing a heavy pack. On the weekends, I'll train in the hills this time of year with a pack on. And coming up to before I start specifically training for a hunt, I do a lot of trail running, and then weights in the gym. And I'll do it, like I said, I do it year round. I like the way I feel when I'm exercising and in shape, and it's just a lot easier for me to do that than to try to, all of a sudden get in shape for a hunt. And my biggest challenge is to not overtrain and get myself hurt, which I have a tendency to do a lot. Last year I had an Achilles problem going into my stone sheep hunt because I spent too much time in a heavy pack getting ready for that trip, and got a strain and something in my Achilles. But I ended up making it through the hunt all right. But
how is it now?
It's fine. It's great. I've been a lot smarter this year going into this sheep hunt and not beating myself up overtraining.
So are you a get up early and train in the morning, Jason, or are you a train in the evenings? Kind of what's your schedule?
For years I've been a get up early in the morning and train before work. I've set up a little different schedule over the last year, which is I take a 2-hour break in the middle of the day and go train at lunch. And now I've got kids, so I take my kids to school and like to spend time with them in the mornings. So I've adjusted my schedule. They've got older now to do a noontime training regimen, which actually I've gotten to really like because my workouts are better than in the morning.
That's awesome. Jason, what would you tell, in conclusion here of our conversation, from a business sense or from, if you could give advice to young people, say, out of high school, in the college age, either going to college or trying to figure out what they're doing, what advice could you give people, or even maybe people that are in their mid 40s, 50s that are searching for something or trying to figure it out? What advice can you give people in as far as business?
My biggest recommendation to anybody, whether you're 15 or whether you're 50, is you can never reach your full potential unless you're doing something you're absolutely passionate about. And someone had told me that when I was in my late 20s, and I thought about it for years before I finally went and started Sitka, and then realized exactly what they meant. And that's because when you're passionate about what you're doing and you love what you're doing, it never seems like work, and so you will outwork anybody else that's in the business that you're competing against because it isn't work, and you can truly realize how successful you can be because you're willing to work on it all the time and you never stop thinking about it versus punching the clock from 9 to 5 just to make a paycheck. It's night and day. And what I tell young guys is envision that perfect job, that perfect career, and that perfect life, and go do it, because we only get one chance at this thing, and I didn't want to have any regrets, and that's why I started doing what I started doing. But I didn't start till I was 32, and I had absolutely zero experience in this business. I knew nothing about it. I just immersed myself in it from day one and loved it, and learned everything on the fly. I've made every single mistake you could possibly make in business and in this business, but it's how you learn. And I've just stayed stubborn, and I'm a really good grinder and have grounded out to where I understand the business and know it really, really well, and I'm really good at it and absolutely love what I do.
Well, it's passion, like you said. I mean, if you're passionate about it, and follow your dreams and just do what you love, you're going to be good at it. And Jason, I want to thank you again for being on the podcast the second time here. Your first episode was awesome. The second episode was great, awesome too. Just want to thank you for all your success and for the hard charger that you are with KUIU, and continuing to just push that brand. And wish you the best of success here on your hunt this weekend, and hope you guys get a nice buck, or at least get some shots. But more importantly, you guys get to spend some father-son and some grandson time, and just hope you guys have a great time.
Jay, thanks for having me on. It's always a pleasure. It's always good to talk to you and hear your voice, and look forward to next time I get to see you and hang out and hunt. And congratulations on all your success. I'm not surprised that your podcasts have quickly become and created such a following. I really enjoy listening to them.
Sounds good, Jason. Thanks a lot, and God bless you, and I'll be chatting at you down the road, okay?
All right, buddy. You take care.
All right, take care.
Bye.
All right, bye.
Guys, I want to tell you about one of the sponsors of this podcast. DeadeyeOutfitters.com is a lifestyle hunting apparel company for hunters, by hunters. Check out episode 45 of this podcast with one of the owners and you'll see what I mean. Deadeye Outfitters makes quality t-shirts, sweatshirts, and hats designed with hunters in mind. Deadeye Outfitters has the only license for creating Boone and Crockett apparel. Use the JScott promo code and receive a 10% discount on all purchases at DeadeyeOutfitters.com. Thanks for listening to the J. Scott Outdoors Western Big Game Hunting and Fishing Podcast, brought to you by GoHunt.com Insider. Use the promo code JScott and receive a $50 KUIU gift card when signing up for the GoHunt.com Insider. Research faster, hunt more. Go to GoHunt.com/insider and join today.